Dylan Dowler, and you're watching Out the Top.
I'm Cooper Bentley, and you're watching Out the Top.
Hey, I'm Bentley Havens, and you're watching Out the Top.
Yeah, buddy. Look at that rock light coming out the top.
Hey, guys. Guess what? We're finally back to start season 3 of Out the Top. When we left, I know we said that wasn't going to be the end, but here we are. Bryant Dunnigan back in the Rock Life Studios for 2025. Dan Carter is back with us from Alabama. How's the winter treated you, sir?
I don't know if you guys remember me, but man, I tell you, it's been cold down here.
I put in an order with Brandon Ho, and he's down Alabama, Georgia, somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
And he messaged me. For you guys that don't know, Brandon is the HD Extreme off-road diff parts. And he called me the other day, and he's like, hey, man, I'm sorry I didn't get your parts out. He's like, we got a little code snap, and all our water lines froze. And I'm like, dude, it's not – like, no. There's no way. And then I forgot where he was at. You all don't get that weather.
No, man, we hardly ever get like snow and like frigid temps.
Well,
like it even snowed at the beach, like Orange Beach.
I seen that.
Yeah,
it snowed. I don't know what it is this winter. Global warming, I guess. Snowing in Hammertown this week.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ. All right,
That's wild.
Before we get too far into it, as always, guys, remember we do have memberships. Had several last year. I know we didn't do much over the winter, but hoping we can get back on track with that this year. When we left you last year, we were not quite to 10,000 subs on YouTube. We're pushing 11 now, so we broke that.
Wait.
The goal, I think, is going to be I mean, I'd be tickled to death if we could get to 2025 at the end of this year. That's all just depends on how quick I get the content out, I guess.
That's right.
What else, man? What else has been anything? I mean, I know I've got the car.
We left the car with you over the winter. You had some few little odd and ends that you want to do with it.
And we ain't done nothing. We ain't done
don't feel
nothing.
bad. I haven't either. Like I've gotten fatter. I've been doing some iRacing, trying to keep the edge.
You know.
But I tell you, it's been a learning curve with that too. But man, just been working. Like it's one of those things. Like we used to be like nonstop, like prepping for races and stuff like that. And then when wintertime gets here, we've got to make the funds for the race program. So, as everybody knows, that racing doesn't pay that well. So we got to kind of stock up the shelves there.
Well, and in all honesty, the full body got a revamp over last winter.
Right.
And it's in pretty good shape. I don't think it took one tumble.
Yeah, the thing really hadn't been raced hard at all.
No,
this year
it's in good shape. The blue L&W Fab chassis that I've got at the shop, we were just originally going to do some clutch tuning on it over the winter.
Right.
Took the drive shaft out of it to put into Braden Upchurch's new build, and me and Thomas just haven't gotten together to get a drive shaft back in the blue one yet. So can't do clutch tuning in 2-wheel drive, and it's been zero. Nobody wants to do that. So it's just basically sat there. I've still not even washed it from last year, from finals. Or no, what was the last? Battle of the Bouncers.
Bouncers, right?
Yeah, still not even washed it.
Yeah, I mean, probably not. Probably no need to.
No.
That we were so fast the mud wouldn't even stick to it.
Hey, bud, that's how we like it.
That's
smooth and fast. But once we get a drive shaft back in that thing, hopefully next week we'll convene on that once again. Got to get Braden finished up before season starts. Hopefully, the ball is in his court now. Nathaniel Bell built him a chassis over the winter using a small piece of the old red buggy.
Right.
We finally got it finished. He's been testing that a little bit, and so the ball's in his court. As soon as he decides he's ready, we're going to tear it back apart, get it powder coated, and get it back assembled. Hopefully before race season, but I'm looking at my watch. It is January 28th. We race in 5-6 weeks for NRRA, so better get to going on that, Braden. Got to get the move on.
Okay, have you unwrapped to him yet?
Have I what?
Have you unveiled the wrap?
I did show him because I got nervous. Okay, so listen, I hired a full-on graphic designer. And I'm not going to tell you all what it is, but I hired a full-on graphic designer to design this wrap for Braden's buggy, and it's great. It's hilarious. It's funny. But at the same time, like, the kid's always wanted a chassis, and now he's got one. And I didn't want him to be pissed off at me because of the wrap and, like, ruin his fun. So I did show it to him just to make sure he wasn't going to be mad.
Right.
He hasn't said either way, so he had the opportunity to say no. So, you all will see it. We love our themes. I'll just put it at that. And this one, if we end up going the way that I want to go, it is a themed buggy, but it's not like what we've done before in the past. So it'll be good. We'll have some fun with that. But yeah, so we're waiting on him to decide what he wants to do there, when he wants to take it back apart. Hopefully it's when he's got plenty of time and he can get his butt up there and, assist, turn some wrenches. But so outside of that, like I said, we did, when we left last fall, we said we were going to do a couple episodes over the winter. We did. We done 2. And both of them I screwed completely up and they were unusable. So that's my fault. We did 2 pretty good episodes. We had one. We went through the whole NRRA schedule. We was an hour and a half. We were talking every race, every event, the new parks, and I didn't hit the record button on the audio. So that's why we've not had any shows. It's not that we didn't do any. I guess I just thought you guys didn't want to hear it. But we're back now.
Yeah.
We're back. We're back to at least bi-weekly, if not weekly shows for the remainder of the year, which I'm excited about. We've got, NRRA is coming up soon. We're going to get into, of course, as always, that's where we are. That's what we do. So we'll get into that in a little more detail at the end of the show or towards the end. NRRA is coming up soon. We got KO. This is KOH week. So King of the Hammers is going on. And we've got, who all from the National Rock Racing Association out there, either current drivers or past drivers. There's so many guys out there running hammers.
Right.
You got Brandon Davis, Daniel Heckley's out there this year. Of course, Cash, Lee Croy, Paul Wolf. Cooper's out there running co-dog for someone, Cooper Bentley. And I don't know who all else is going to be out there. Those are just the ones that I could think of off the top of my head. So those guys are in full-on race mode already. What would you do? Like, if you rolled up, like they weren't letting people into Hammertown the other day. You couldn't get there because of the snow.
Right. That was crazy, man.
Now I think the weather's already turned. Most of the snow's melted, and I don't know how quick that place dries out.
Right.
But I have a feeling that King of the Hammers is going to be a show. Some of the UTVs getting up some of the rock sections with all this mud and moisture from last week.
Right.
Dude, I don't know. Maybe the winds pick up and it dries out real easy. We'll see. But I'd say they'll have some challenges coming at them. What else we got from King of the Hammers? Oh, so in one of our very first episodes, back 2 years ago, we talked about the Polaris Factory Racing. We done like a whole episode, kind of, or most of an episode, talking about that program. And we said in that program, or in that episode, that Polaris was building these Pro R race cars, right? With the goal of those cars being available to the public.
Mm-hmm.
Those were going to be sold, or, originally the thought was they were going to make them enough to be eligible for stock class. I don't know what the numbers is, but they have to sell so many units to be available to run stock. Well, there's 5 of those cars in the desert, at least. So the thought is that factory Pro R race prepped Polaris RZR is going to hit the market here in the near future.
Right.
What do you think a car like that retails at?
Man, I feel like they're going to be somewhere close to 100 grand.
Well, originally that's what I thought too. But
yeah,
I don't know if 100 gets it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they price them at, because we already know what they go for.
The upside to this, the only thing that would be a cost savings, I feel like. So if you go buy a Pro R, right? You're going to buy any car to build a Hammers car out of. You go to the dealer, it comes with a cage. It comes with tires and wheels. It comes with all this. It comes with all this. And the reason the build is so expensive is you're paying for so much stuff you don't need or want.
Right.
So, like, you're buying a $40,000 car and then throwing $20,000 or $30,000 or $40,000 at it.
Right.
I'm hoping with this, and I know it's going to be more expensive. I know it is. I mean, it just has to be. But I'm hoping with this they take into effect, yeah, it's got a $2,000 set of tires and wheels on it. Well, but we didn't have to sell you the $1,200 set of tires and wheels first.
Right.
So, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so there'd be like $800.
It'd be an $800
upcharge
instead of a $2,000 upcharge, which
right.
I think that would be to me, that seems like the fair way to do that.
Right.
I don't know if it is.
And it's, not to take away from that, but just to kind of give you a perspective, like, I know there's somebody at home saying, or driving down the road, whatever, listen to this, like, man, how cool would it be to just be able to buy what you needed?
Yeah.
And when we were thinking about going Can-Am, we found a dealership that was like, we'll sell you what you need and what you don't need.
Yep.
And like, I don't know that Polaris if there's a dealer out there that would do that, but that would be nice to know if you were just planning on building a car and all you needed was engine, transmission, wiring harness.
Yeah, when we were first, when the stock class first took off, we were talking about going to Can-Am, and I found a dealer that would basically sell you the tub of the car.
Right.
No suspension, no shocks, no cage, no seats.
Right.
But it had all the functionables,
All right. It was just going to be minus the stuff that we were going to
replace.
upgrade anyway.
Yeah. That dealer, what he done is he kept those parts and either sold them as new, which, I mean, they are new. He either sold them as new or used them for warranty or insurance jobs, or, he made it work because he was a racer and he understood. Now, I don't think he would do that for everybody, but, if he knew you were a racer that was going to race,
right, committed.
Yeah, I feel like that he would have offered that to several people. But yeah, find it, and that's the way I feel like with that Pro R is, yeah, it's going to be more expensive. It's a completely different chassis. I get it, but you're not buying two chassis. You're not buying one to throw away. You're just buying one.
Right.
Same deal with a buggy like what we've got. If you go to Polaris and buy, we're running basically Turbo S. If you went and bought a Turbo S when they were new, you gave $25,000 for this Turbo S, and you threw $10,000 of that away.
Right.
You didn't need it.
Right.
If you had the parts, like with the blue buggy again, we already had all the parts.
Right.
So it was way less expensive the second time.
Yeah, and we have seen that in the past. We've seen builders go out and buy brands, and then 3 weeks later they're offering it as a roll.
Yeah.
And I don't know where all of those machines wound up, but I know a guy that bought one and put it all back together just out of like spare parts, and he pretty much had a brand new used, like a 2019 Razor.
Yeah, I mean it's I don't know. Maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe it'll. I mean, I know it's going to be expensive.
Yeah,
and
then is it going to be worth it? Like, what all upgrades are they going to do? And is it something that you'd be better off like buying the brand new car and then building somewhat of a replica of it yourself?
I think it depends on. Excuse me. I think it depends on what they done to the chassis.
Right.
Everything else is store bought.
Right.
It depends on what they done with the chassis, and I'm sure it has a completely different, fully reinforced, custom chassis. That would mean more. But listen, they just went and won Dakar. They won Dakar. They've won the Ball 1000. They won the King of Hammers Desert Race last year, and they're really wanting they're going after it, Can-Am in the Rock Race.
Right.
They're going to have to go, but they're wanting this to be a they're really, really pushing that race aspect. So I don't know. I just think it'll be cool. No way I can afford it, but some of those guys out west that are building these cars, if they can just go to Polaris and pick one up,
right,
wrap it, drive it. I mean, instead of wasting a year building one.
That's right.
It's probably worth it to some of those guys that do this all the time.
There's money in it because I've got a buddy that, we talked to him at a race a while back, and he basically built, I think he bought 2 cars, built both of them identical, went and raced hammers, used one for a not a qualifying car, but like a pre-running car.
Yeah.
The other one came home and sold both of them and made money on them.
Dude.
So somebody running like U4 or something, that may be an option for some of those guys. Instead of doing that, just going out and buying one straight off the showroom floor, taking it and racing it and using it for a season or two and getting rid of it.
I wonder what these banks are going to say when somebody goes in and says, I want $100,000 loan on a Polaris.
Yeah.
Ew. I mean, they'll come VIN tags and everything. You be able to get insurance on them? Hell yeah. Go race that baby. I don't know. Maybe, we talked about going out, trying to go out there and run next year. Maybe we still can. Maybe we can't. We don't know. But I would like to go out there at some point regardless.
Yeah. Yeah. Like my goal is just to get out there and watch and check everything out. And I think it'd be cool to eventually get out there and run.
Well, we had plans. We were going to go, last fall. Work and life. If you don't put it, it's one of those things, man. If you don't put it in motion, it's hard to get done.
Right. Yeah. And it's one of those things you got to put it in motion early.
Yeah. Yeah. Dream's not dead. Dream's not dead, but it is maybe delayed a little bit. So anyways. All right. So KOH week this week. Good luck to all of our guys who are out there running. Outside of that, our next event coming up is we got Outlaw in a couple weeks at Hawk Pride. Trying to talk Braden into, we're going to be pushing it close to get him turned around. Trying to talk him into going down there and running just to give the car a shakedown.
Yeah, that'd be a good time.
Nathaniel Bell's got his Razor. We're going to rebuild shocks on it. Friday, Saturday, I don't know, soon. He's trying to get down there for that. I will be there on Saturday for the Outlaw race. I'm going to come down and get some video. The old video wells run dry.
Yeah.
Need some fresh stuff. So I'm going to head down there. And then after that, we are off to Windrock for the first race of the National Rock Racing Association for 2025. That same weekend, there is also an Outlaw race at Wheeling, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about every year when the schedule comes out, and we can go through the schedule if you want to in a little bit. Every year when the schedule comes out, there's a conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And every year we get the brunt of the fussing. Oh, but, we had our schedule out before you. You should do this or you should do that. No. We don't care who puts out what first. It doesn't matter who puts out what. It matters that, contracts were signed maybe a year ago. It just didn't get announced in time. It's not our place to, I say our. It's not National Rock Racing Association's place to go around, they want to keep the schedule a little bit of a secret. So there's some hype around the announcement. It's not their place to go out telling every Tom, Dick, and Harry that wants to run a off-road series, this is when we're running, yada, 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 yada. But most every year, the other people work around what we do. This year, from what I've been told, Outlaw is not moving that race. They are going to race that weekend. So for the first time in several years, we're going to have a head-to-head.
Right.
I'm curious what that's going to do to car count. I think, of course, UTVs, it really shouldn't affect us much. Anybody who wants to come run on Friday can come run on Friday, and if they want to run Outlaw, they can go run Outlaw on Saturday, other than the UTV bounty guys. Outside of that, I feel like our bouncer crowd and their bouncer crowd, there's a little bit of overlap. but not a lot.
Right.
A lot of the guys that ran Outlaw last year, from what the grumblings we've heard and been told, we're not going to follow that series this year. They might go run one or two. I think Cooper's going to run Hawk Pride just to get a shakedown in their buggy, since it was completely reworked over the winter. They'll probably have a good car count at Hawk Pride because of that, to get those first race jitters and bugs worked out from everybody.
Right.
But I'm really curious to see what happens. Listen, Windrock's everybody loves that place. It's good racing. I hate that we're at this. When was the last head-to-head weekend, like legit head-to-head? Had to have been NRRA versus Pro Rock, like September Slam or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like September Slam was asked to be moved or something this past year. But I remember too, like it may have been was it a Renegade race?
I don't
And
even
Pro
remember.
Rock, there was a bunch of guys left the Renegade race one year to go race a Pro Rock race one time.
Well,
And then
I remember one time at Rush, we were at Rush, and I can't remember if it was the spring or fall event. SRS was running somewhere else, and at the time I was sponsoring Travis Skelton, Jamie Cold Irons, a bunch of those guys. And none of them were at Rush on Friday. Of course, there wasn't no racing on Friday. Pro Rock was all day Saturday. And I woke up the next morning, and they're all pulling in. They drove all night.
right.
From wherever the hell they were to come race at Rush on Saturday. I'm pretty sure that was NRRA and Pro Rock, though.
Yeah. I want to say there was like a Bikini Bottoms deal too. Like we were at Bikini Bottoms one year, and then everybody left that Friday.
That might have been it. It might have been like when we run Bikini Bottoms twice.
Right.
Because we used to run it in the spring and the fall. And I bet that's what it was. I bet it was the spring Bikini Bottom race.
But I mean, it's one of those things too. It's like I know Clyde and Pro Rock, they generally tried to work some of their stuff out because the bleed over was a good bit for each series.
Yes.
But with Outlaw, there's more UTV guys that run the Outlaw stuff that bleed over than there are bouncer guys, I believe.
Yeah, and that won't be a big deal, like I said, other than the bounty. But I mean, let's be real. Our bounty class has been dwindling.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to put no gloom and doom over anything. Hopefully it comes back this year. But our bounty class, we had 4 people run pretty much all year last year. So I'm trying to think. Nathaniel does it. He ran Outlaw, but didn't run it all the time. I think Casey may have dabbled with some Outlaw, but I don't think he run a full season.
I know the Caissons do, but they don't really run bounty.
They don't run bounty, so it really won't affect them. Or I don't think it will. And after that, man, I'm thinking, I don't know what Josh Krapinski did. I know Nathan King liked to run them both.
Yeah. And then, speaking of those two guys, we did talk about their new ventures. May have been one of the episodes that got lost, but
was.
we're going to be those guys in new classes, new buggies.
Yeah.
And, but I don't think they'll, I feel like those guys will probably run with Clyde trying to go to Wheeling for Windrock.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope we have a good crowd. Windrock's always a really good place to race. And I hope that this double booking doesn't affect either one too much. Like I said, I feel like Outlaw kind of made their bed last year with the main group of guys I feel like that run National Rock that ran Outlaw. I think it was already in the works that a lot of them wasn't going to run Outlaw next year. It's a lot of racing, guys. It's a lot of traveling, and it's a lot of wear and tear.
Right.
So
yeah, people.
I don't know. Maybe it won't be too bad. Outside of that, do you want to talk? We don't have to go over the whole schedule. We've done that. Spent a whole hour talking about that. But we'll hit the high points here. So we've got Windrock Wildcat Hot Springs. This is National Rock. Rush Off-Road. And then the week after our Rush Off-Road event on April 25th, 26th, on May the 2nd and 3rd, we head to a new park, Fiddler's Bend, in Oklahoma. Now, that was the park, everybody's seen it on YouTube, where Wes Keene had the bolted tires and done the Bounty Hill. I'm curious what that's going to be like. I don't know anything about that park. So you guys in the comments, let us know, about that place. If you can, give us some information, because there may be some people, even some racers, that are kind of on the fence. That's a long trip for a lot of us. So anybody that's listening, or even if you want to come on at some point, we'll have you on and you can tell us a little bit about that place, what to expect when we go there. Like I said, I don't know nothing about that joint. After there, we've got off pretty much the rest of May, most of June. June 27th, 28th, go to Good Evening Ranch. Then we're off all of July. August 1st, back at Pretty Place. Hawk Pride at the end of August. September 12th and 13th, Rush Springs. And then Wildcat is your home for finals again the first weekend of October. Guys, put it in your calendars, make your reservations, do whatever you got to do. Do not let Wildcat slip again for finals. We've got to pack that place out and show them some love.
Oh man! And if you missed it last time, man, that was a show.
That was some good racing. I'm hoping. Now, no word. We talked, and I don't know this may have been on one of the deleted shows. Hell, I don't know. We talked about, they're wanting to rework points somehow or another for finals, or points for finals format. The only thing I'll say about that is, I don't know if there's going to be anything done. I just hope that if there is, it's announced before the first race.
Yeah, or at the first race.
Yeah, or at the first race. I hope that is a thing. Don't wait till Wildcat Weekend to come up with some new format or something. Tell us now. That way that people can prepare for it all year long. So you want to talk about the new classes a little bit? I know those were in the deleted.
Yeah, we can, because there may be some people with hurt feelings, especially people like me that go out and buy a vehicle for a class and then come to find out the class is just been dissolved.
Yeah.
But, rest in peace for the old purple Jeep.
Well, I mean, to be fair, she didn't really get rode that much anyways, Tan.
Yeah, no, we enjoyed that, man. I hate that class is going to be gone, but sometimes with one door closes, another one opens, so we get to see this new bouncer class coming into play.
Yeah.
So
the VIN class is gone. Everybody got tired of chasing Charles. So now we have a modified bouncer division.
Right.
From what I understand, it will run the same course at the same time, like right with the big bouncers. Not two by two, but in the same time frame.
Right.
Run with the bouncers. They will be scored separately than the other bouncer class. And okay, the rules for this class are a little tricky, sort of. So the rule, no rear steer, right? No rear steer. Now I don't know. Would have to get clarity on this from the powers that be. But if you want to run this class and you have rear steer, I'm pretty sure you can still race, but it has to be mechanically locked out. I don't think if it's like electric or something, I don't think you can, take the button off.
Right.
It has to be mechanically locked out, so it will not function. But that is the rule. Now, we've got 3 other rules, and you have to conform to at least 2 of these. It has to be a naturally aspirated, have a stock block, or it has to have single shock per corner. Now, you can pick 2 of those rules and be fine. And you get to pick the 2. So you can have a naturally aspirated stock block buggy with no rear steer, and you can put 16 damn shocks on every corner if you want to.
Right.
Or you can have a single shock buggy with a stock block, and you can throw all the power that little block will handle at it. So it's you pick your poison in that class. I think the reason they went with those rules is they don't want to do tech.
Right.
We don't need any argument over this. I know the stock block rule will there's going to be people get mad about that. There's going to be people cheating and yada, 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 whatever. That's the only one they couldn't really work around, but they want to be able to walk up to the buggy and look at it and go, yeah, legal, no, not legal.
Right.
Theoretically, you should be able to look at it from 50 yards away.
Right.
If you got, if it's single shock, no rear steer, and no power adders, you ought to be able to see that.
Right.
So they didn't want to do a lot of tech on that. So there's that for your, man, it's mainly, I feel like it was to bring back the buggies of yesteryear.
Right. Like that's what my hopes. It would be like no trailing arms, just 4-link single shock buggies. Don't worry about horsepower. If they want to have a stock block, or if they want to have a aftermarket block, whatever. If they want a Whipple charger, if they want to spray nitrous on it, whatever. Just keep it single shock, 4-link buggy.
Yeah, that would have been, I think that would have been the class. And I kind of understand the reasoning for the trailing arm deal was because, there's been a lot of buggies built in the last 3 or 4 years, and trailing arms are now the industry standard.
Right.
So you didn't want to exclude them, I guess, based on that. But, I mean, let's be real. How many buggies out there don't have some sort of power adder?
I don't see people stepping back from the bouncer class now to race this class.
No, I don't.
Like, everybody's going to go after the big money. This was just for the, like you said, trying to bring out old school style buggies back in the sport.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that. I do want to make this point. Guys, this is a payback class.
Right.
So don't go build. I mean, I know it's late in the year and late to be building anything, but the intention wasn't for people to build specific rigs for this class. It's to get your trail rig guys to come play.
Right.
Because it is a payback class. So, if there's 10 people in, winner gets 50%. Second place is going to get 30%. Third place will get 20%. Until the class gets on its feet, that's what it's going to be. So, don't go spending $100,000 to come out and win
right.
500 or whatever. Outside the bouncer class, I don't know how many entries we're going to have in this. They're going to run with the UTV. I don't know when they're going to run. I shouldn't have said that.
I kind of feel like it'll be, this class will be kind of similar to the new bouncer class. I feel like it'll kind of mesh in with the stock class.
I need clarity on this too, because that's what I assumed it would be. And then I heard grumblings that they were wanting it to run on Saturday because of the kids in the school and yada, yada, yada. But we have a new teen class. It's the same rules as UTV stock. It'll be basically the same courses, maybe a bypass here and there. But it's exact same rules. I don't know the exact. You'll have to get on the National Rock Racing Association's website to get those rules, and we can link those down in the description of this video if you guys want to go check that out. But it is also a payback class, but it's going to be a transitional class for the guys and girls going from the 200s that maybe want to run stock or want to run even UTV Cup, but they need that little extra time to get a little more comfort in a full-size rig with horsepower. So that's good. I'm glad we're doing that for the kids. Like I said, I don't know what days they're running on. I guess here, I'll just look. Let's see what we can come up with. But I know Brantley Havens is already signed up as a season driver in that class. So I don't know who else we've got running, but I'm glad Brantley really come on there at the end of last season, was getting faster and faster and faster, more and more comfortable. But you could tell at the first of the season, like he would have really benefited from this class.
Right. Yeah, like a stepping stone before you just get thrown to the wolves.
Yes. All right, I'm on the... Okay, so the teen amateur UTV class is going to be on Saturdays. So they did move that to Saturdays. So I'm just going to go over our event schedule for the first race, March 7th and 8th. Friday, UTV stock, UTV unlimited. No different other than no vent. Saturday, 9:30 a.m. roughly, teen amateur UTV course 1, UTV bounty course 1, rock bouncer course 1, UTV youth course 1. So basically Saturday got a little longer. And then our second run will be, more of the same after the lunch break. So that teen class is going to be on Saturday. I wish they'd have just run that on Friday. The reasoning doesn't make any sense to me is because all those kids are there anyways.
Yeah.
They can say, people can say what they want. All the kids don't miss, they're there on Friday anyways.
Yeah.
Let them run, but whatever. Maybe if it gets a couple extra people to come out and run, then I guess that's good. So that'll be fun to watch how that plays out. I don't know how many seasoned drivers have signed up for this season. Let's see if we got any season drivers on here yet. Brandon Davis, Clay Kaysen, Cohen Ellison, Daniel Heckley, David Darnell, Jay Storts, Justin Hoback, Nathaniel Bell. That is all of our UTV season drivers for the moment. And then you get into our amateur class, Maddie Darnell, Sadie Ellison, and Brantley Havens. So he's got at least 3 right now. So we got to start. So get the word out. If you got a 12 to 18-year-old that wants to run in that UTV teen class, we'd be more than happy to have them come check it out at Windrock. And if you want to, listen, Windrock is one of the most laid back. As far as our races go, I feel like that's a more laid back course.
Right.
It's a good place to get your feet wet. So come on out and enjoy some more racing there March 7th and 8th at Windrock Park. Let's see what else we got on the notes. Man, that's really about it. What you got any plans outside of the normal race schedule stuff? Is there anything you want to hit this year?
Man, we hadn't really released a schedule this year just because we hadn't. We're still trying to get the 18-wheeler stuff sorted out. Took a new position at work, so we're trying to play everything by the seat of our pants. I would like to go check out the Outlaw race at Hawk Pride. I will not be racing it, but I would like to at least show up, see everybody. There's also going to be a Jeep event at Hawk Pride that one of my sponsors is putting on, Ricky Berry with RCV. They're having a Jeep Fest up there, so you can catch us there. I'll post all that stuff on my social medias about that also. But right now, just National Rock, and we'll see what else is thrown our way.
I want to venture out. I want to try and hit more of the mud races again this year.
Yeah, I really like Tony's stuff. And last time we talked to Tony, he was going to try to incorporate some UTV stuff into his, something else besides the mud racing. So there may be some UTV races going on with him. So I want to check in with him. And then, man, I tell you, like, we went with Big Hill Media to a thing called the Tennessee Gambler 500 a few years back. Had an absolute blast with that. It was good filming. It was for a good cause. I'd love to hit something like that again. And then, there's also like you and I talked about it, and I can't remember the name of it. It's like the Kings of the Appalachian or something like that.
Oh, yeah. 24 hours of Appalachia.
Yeah, so I'd like to hit some stuff like that. I love the rock racing and stuff, but I kind of want to venture out and just kind of grow our social media a little bit and meet some more people.
We'll get together. We'll make some plans. I'm kind of like you. I want to get out and this is our home. Will be my home forever. But I do want to get out and do some other stuff, man. It's just it's fun. Just
like the fair up there for you guys. Man, we had an absolute blast, but we also got to talk to a lot of the locals, and a lot of those people didn't know that there was UTV racing going on at the fair that weekend. And, we were able to kind of coerce some people into showing up just to kind of watch us and to see what it is that Rock Life is part of their community. And, just a lot of people get out and socialize like they used to after this COVID life that everybody's been living the last few years is trying to, people are trying to start living again. So anything we can do to kind of help people get out and enjoy the weather, find a new watch.
Speaking of that, they did reach out. I've not made my mind up what we're going to do about that, the race at the fair this year. I've not decided what we're going to do about that. If you guys remember, we used to do a UTV show in Monticello. We done that for a couple years. We didn't get to do it last year because it fell on a race weekend. And I guess the city's pissed off at me because they didn't even call this year, and they've released their schedule, and there's no UTV show on it. So I don't know. I may call them and see if there's no market. It was called the Monticello Market, and that's where they done their show. There's no market in July. If the timing of this is right, then our market would be on race day. Now that would be a pretty cool deal. Everybody could come do the show, hang out at the show, and then we're a mile and a half away. We can all head straight to where we race and make a full day out of it. That's a possibility. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know yet. Got to talk to some people and see how the dates fall on all of that. But nevertheless, so we're going to try and do some digging. Try and do some research this week. See what we can come up with for next week. I want to talk to some of the people who are running Outlaw and some people who maybe aren't, and try and figure out what that's going to look like for their first couple races of the season. And I'm going to reach out and try and get somebody on with us next week, see how the winter fared for them. But we're back in the swing, so be on the lookout for us. Like I said, we'll be weekly as much as we can, bi-weekly some throughout the year. Happy to be back. It appears as though everything has recorded, so that's good.
Fingers crossed.
Oh, before we go, if you guys have made it this far, I know I'm kind of rambling at this point, but if you've made it this far, then you listen to the whole show. We appreciate that. If you listen to the whole show, if you sit here through our torture for the last 50 minutes, then I don't understand what's stopping you from being a member on our channel. So this year, last year we done discount codes, merch. We had some giveaways. We done some cool stuff for our members. Early access to videos. This year, we're going to give it a month or two to get the word out. This year, we're going to have a members. Me and Dan we've spent the winter iRacing. So we had this big bright idea the other day. Hey, let's get a league up, an iRacing league up for the channel members. And if this comes to fruition, the way we're going to do this, and if you guys are familiar with it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And if you're not, it's a driving sim game. It's on PC. It's really hard, but so much fun. It is. But so much fun. So what we're going to do in that is, like, every week we'll have a race, or every couple weeks, or once a month, or whatever. We don't know yet. But we'll draw a random vehicle. Like, you can run NASCAR Cup cars, you can run Pro 4 trucks, rally cars, Indy cars, basically whatever. So what we'll do on that, if we can get enough interest in that, we'll just draw a random car in a random track, and we'll do it day of, and we'll have a little members iRacing league, and we'll come up with some cool prizes for the top points finisher in that series. If we can get 4 or 5 or 6 people signed up for that, we'll get that started at some point in the near future. If you don't have iRacing, guys, go get it. It's so much fun. It'll take all your time and most of your money, just like real racing.
Yeah, and I'm you need to look at and see what the specifications are for your computer, obviously. But most everybody's going to have a computer that will run iRacing. And then, man, you can drive the car using the keyboard if you just absolutely have to.
Yeah, you can use
But,
keyboard or any game, I think Xbox PC controller, hand controller.
Hey, you can go get you could probably, like, if you did not have anything and you wanted to go iRacing, I think probably the most expensive thing would probably be the computer. And then your controls, you can go buy a set of Xbox game controls, like a steering wheel and feet pedals, for a couple $100. Computer, a few $100. A year subscription to iRacing, and what is it, like $100?
Yeah, it's something like that. It's
So
it's if you like driving, it is very challenging and very fun, and it's kind of one of those it's kind of one of those deals. You can go down a rabbit hole and spend however much money you want, but it's fun. And I know several people who listen to the show either have Beam, I think it's BeamNG, either have Beam already, or I know several people that listen to the show that have rigs. And if you guys are interested in getting into this and doing this little league with us, then go get that membership. Consider it your league dues or what have you, because it does cost money to host races on iRacing. It's not free. So consider that league dues or whatever. And we'll get together and we'll give away something cool. It won't be nothing cheap. We'll give away something cool from the shop.
make it worth everybody's while.
Yeah, we'll make it worth everybody's while. It needs to be fun, but it's got to be competitive too.
Yeah.
So there's something to stir on, guys. We'll get back. We'll do updates on that as we get some interest built up. Maybe in the next 3 or 4 weeks, we can get that off the ground and rocking and rolling. All right, guys, that's it for this week. The season opener of Out the Top. Y'all thought you was rid of us. We ain't going nowhere. Bye.
See ya.